Welcome, musici. Today we are here with Lazarus Alonsius
from Miami, but right now I'm in Kentucky.
exactly, from the other side of the world. And today we start reading some books, and we choose a counterpoint book, a book about counterpoint, Arte, pratica, latina et volgare, di far contrapunto a mente et a penna. That means ars, so arte pratica, art, Latin, and so in Latin and in vulgar language, so it means Italian, double language, to play, to do counterpoint alla mente, so improvised counterpoint, and a penna, so written counterpoint. This is divided into 10 books, and this is a really interesting book about counterpoint, improvisation, and all these things, because it's a practical book, as the title says, Arte pratica. So, let's start from the Liber Primus, okay? We have Liber Primus, introquendi vocem, cioè di fare contrappunto, that is to do counterpoint. So, Italian, let's read from this point. Chiamasi contrappunto perché i vecchi cantavano sopra a punti. That means this is called counterpoint because old men used to sing over points. This translates the meaning given in this book, really pragmatic. So, ancora le note non avevano i loro nomi. So, it says that the ancient used to sing on these points when notes didn't have their names. Incredible. Non si chiama contrappunto perché si facci con i punti, perché si può fare con i punti e senza si vedrà poi. Quest'arte conserva il modo anch'io di parlare, bla bla bla. He now is making some introduction. Now, point number 2. Ok, il contrappunto ha materia e forma, so the counterpoint has matter and form. The matter are the 6 notes ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. As we can see, the matter, so the substance of the counterpoint are ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. These are called elements. Elementi. Queste si chiamano elementi. La forma, so the form is the semitone. That is like the soul, che è come l'anima, è spirito nella musica. This is really beautiful. So I read first of all in Italian entirely. Il contrappunto ha materia et forma. La materia sono le 6 note ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Queste si chiamano ancora elementi. La forma è il semitono, la quale è come anima e spirito nella musica. Di questo dirò poi. That is, the counterpoint has matter as a substance and form. Matter, substance are the 6 notes, ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. And these are called also elements of counterpoint. And the form is the semitone. That is like the soul and the spirit of music. And about this, he says, I'm gonna talk later. So, 3. Tertium preceptum. Il contrappunto ha consonanze perfette e imperfette. So, in counterpoint we have perfect consonances and imperfect consonances. Dicono le perfette siano unisono. So, the perfect consonances are unisons, quinta, so fifth, octava, octave, duodecima, so 12th, because they used to think a 12th not exactly like a 5th. There is a difference in the Renaissance between a 5th and a 12th. That is an octave plus a 5th. Then we can see decima quinta, so 15th, decima nona, 19th, vigesima quarta, 22nd, and going on this way. As you can read here, 1, 5, 8, all these numbers. Dicono le consonanze imperfette siano terza, decima is simile. So imperfect consonances are 3, 10th, and similar. That means when they say simile, usually they mean or plus an octave or inversion. In this case, of course, another imperfect consonant is the 6th, that is the inversion of the 3rd. Quartum preceptum. Dicono che abbiamo note dissonanti. This is really beautiful, because dicono che abbiamo note dissonanti is like they say, but we don't know who. They say we have dissonant notes, and they are the 2nd, the 6th. Interesting. Chiodino considers the 6th as a dissonance. The settima, so the 7th, nona, the 9th, and sibili plus an octave. And vogliono alcuni, so someone wants that the 4th, la quarta, 4th is a consonant. It depends, generally it depends if the 4th is with the bass, so the 4th is a dissonant. But if the 4th is between another voice, for example 5th plus 4th, in this case we consider the 4th as a dissonance, as a consonant, because the 4th with the bass is an octave. Tutte le note concordanti e discordanti si pongono nel contrappunto. So in counterpoint we can put concordanti, so consonant, and dissonance, discordanti note, according to different rules. So quintum preceptum. Ogni contrappunto al tuono, il quale è un intervallo, spazio et distanza di 2 note, ma una scende e l'altra descende. Esempio. So every counterpoint has a tone. That is an interval or space, because we can imagine the tone has a space on the score, or a distance. Exactly, a distance has between 2 notes. Exactly, distanza di 2 note, distance of 2 notes. And in one case the tone is ascending, in the other case the tone is descending, as we can see. So we have an example. So tell me, Lazarus, how can we read this in solmization?
Well, first we have to see what clef we're using, and this is a C clef.
Exactly.
Therefore, that line right there that the first note is on is going to be either an ut or a fa.
Exactly. But
that half step right there.
Because we are ascending, it's probably it is.
Usually, yeah, ascending it would be ut.
Exactly.
Starting with ut.
And for example, this is an E, an E descending. So yes, this E can be mi, but because it's ascending, it will be
la.
Exactly, because we can imagine the descent. La, sol, fa, mi, re, for example. And this is ascending, so, or la, sol, or re, ut, if we imagine this as the last part of our hard hexachord. But we have 3 different bars, so we can imagine all the two possibilities good as well. Okay, now we start seeing interval music. So ogni contrappunto ha il semitono, il quale è mezzo tono. Interesting. Every counterpoint has the semitone, that is half a tone. Questo è di 2 sorti, cioè maggiore e minore. The semitone is so there are 2 kinds of semitones: major semitone and minor semitone. This is something strange if we think about our modern music theory. We don't have the major semitone and the minor semitone, or better in this terminology, because it says the major, il maggiore sempre è in 2 corde. So it says the major is always on 2 corde, so on 2 letters. E in luoghi, so 2 different places and letters, like mi fa or fa mi or la fa or fa la. If we think mi fa or fa mi descending, or la fa and fa la in the case of the fa super la. Re mi fa sol la fa la La, Fa ascending, and Fa, La descending. Il minore, so the minor tone, is in the same place, on the same letter, in the same corda, Be, Fa, Be, Mi. So, on the same chord, on the same letter, Be, so Be, Fa, and then Mi. So, in other words, this is the essence of the chromaticism, as he says. And this distance is called Fa, Mi, okay? And mutazione, he says, fanno il semitono minore. Example. So let's see now some examples. We have our alto clef, okay? So how can we sing these three notes?
Mi, fa, fa.
Fa, mi, exactly. This is a longa, exactly.
Oh yeah, I don't know why I thought that was a clef. Fa, mi.
Exactly. They are semi-brevis, and then we have a longa. Now we have another alto clef, okay, as we can see, but this time with a flat. So, how is this?
Re, fa, fa, re.
Yes, exactly, but because we have the fa in this position, okay, this is fa super
Will be
la.
la.
Exactly, so
Mhm.
la, fa,
La,
fa, la.
fa, fa, la.
Exactly, perfect. And what's happening here? We have the same position, the same corda, because the letters, okay, in the old system, in the ancient system, the letters are a different system than syllable, and they are merged in another system where we have a double meaning, letters and syllables. So we have the same letter in this position because B, but different syllables because the first one is a mi and the second one is fa. Mi, fa, mi, fa. It would be strange for our modern musician in our modern century.
Would that be mi, fa, ut?
What? What do you mean?
That
with
note
ut?
right after.
Ah, okay, this one.
Yes.
Yes, or better, sol, because we can imagine this fa, la,
La, sol.
sol. Yes, like in the context of fa super la, because here we have only some intervals without the context.
Mm.
We must sing a melody thinking its context, the context, because the language implies you are in a wider context than single passages. I know that reading Renaissance music is not always so simple. You, an excellent 21st century musician, risk not understanding the logical structure of musical phrases of this ancient style. As competent as you are, the ancient masters had another way of thinking about music horizontally, which is totally different from our modern system. The ancient one is called Solmization, and even today it is possible to learn it, thanks to Fa mi et mi fa est tota musica. Not familiar with this method? Click on this link and find out how it works. Very good. Now, septimum preceptum. Ogni contrapunto ha la sesta maggiore et minore. So every counterpoint has the major sixth and the minor sixth. Major sixth and minor sixth. Alla greca, so in Greek terminology, esaccordo. So the sixth in Greek is hexachordum, six corde. Exactly. So as I say as I talk really deeply about hexaccordo in lesson 2 of Fa mi si fa est tota musica. La sesta maggiore ha un semitono, la minore doi. So the major sixth has one semitone. Okay, let's play a major sixth, for example, from G ut up to E la. So we have ut re mi fa, our semitone, mi fa sol la, tone, semitone, tone, and another tone. And the minor the minor 6 has two semitones. So let's imagine a minor 6. It can be, for example, from D, Re up to Be Fa. Imagine the Fa super La. So Lazarus, sing this 6 step by step, arriving from D to B flat.
Re mi fa.
Exactly, or Re mi fa sol la fa. If we sing the Fa super La, exactly. Here we have another kind of minor 6 from B, where we have mi fa re mi fa sol, and here we have a semitone here and another semitone here. So mi fa re mi fa sol, mi fa sol, two semitones. Exactly, semitone and semitone. Octavum preceptum. Habemus papam. No, habemus tertiam majorem. Abbiamo terza maggiore e minore. So we have the third, major and minor third. The major third doesn't have the semitone. La terza maggiore non ha il semitono. Potete voi porre nel contrappunto più terze e seste, purché una sia maggiore e l'altra sia minore. This is interesting. So Chiodino and other treatises of this century says that you can put in your counterpoint several thirds and sixths. Okay, probably is thinking about one in succession, so 3 3 3 3 and 6 6 6 6, but under the condition that they are one minor and then one major. So you have to alternate major and minor 6 in Renaissance counter, because you know, if we play this on the piano keyboard, we are in a context with the equal temperament. But in another tuning, like a Milton, it's that major third sounds more strict than on the piano keyboard. So they had a different aural perception of those intervals. Now we have a major third, so the major third is ut re mi in this case. And how is the name of this other third, minor third? Yes, we have a minor third. Exactly, because this tertia minor refers to this example. So alto clef. So what's the name of this third? Lazarus.
With solmization?
Yeah, of course. How do you want to read it?
Mi sol.
Exactly, mi sol, because we have the semitone here. If this melody is continuing, going up, mi fa, exactly, and then re, mi fa, etc., and going on this way. Nonum preceptum. Spesso il tono diventa semitono e il semitono diventa tono, e causa ne è il diesis. Esempio. So often the tone becomes semitone and the semitone becomes tone. And what's the origin of these things? What is it? The sharp diesis. Here we have the semitonus, so mi fa re ut, semitone, and this is not a semitone. Mi fa. It sounds strange because, of course, this is only an example. So it's strange to find this as a melody in a Renaissance counterpoint. But he wants to show how this, thanks to the diesis, we pass from the semitone to the tone. Because as Lorenzo Penna says, the semitones make the second note to say mi. Okay, so we can think this as a mi, and we have mi, for example. Thanks to mi fa, thinking in an ancient way. But I repeat that we have to consider a wider context, so the context where is the melody, and this is not a melody, this is only an example. So decimum preceptum. Ok, this seems more interesting. Nel contrappunto sono 4 moti. Exactly. In counterpoint there are 4 movements. It's talking about movements of the voices. Il primo modo, dalla nota perfetta all'altra imperfetta. So from a perfect, of course, in this case with notes it means interval. So from a perfect interval to another perfect interval. So for example, from a fifth to an octave, from unison to a fifth. As you can see, as, so come means, for example, from the unison to the fifth. Or exactly. Then the second motion is dalla nota imperfetta all'altra imperfetta. So from imperfect consonants to perfect consonants. As from the third to the third. From third to the third. The third movement is from the perfect note to the imperfect note. So from perfect to imperfect, as from the unison to the third. And the fourth, il quarto moto, the fourth movement is from the imperfect to the perfect, as from the third to the unison, for example. And here we have 5 examples of this movement. So let's sing all these examples and play them. So we have primus example. What are the notes, Lazarus?
Ut la. Oh wait, no, it's ut sol. Never mind.
Yeah, ut sol.
Yeah, I don't know why I saw that on the line.
Exactly.
It's on the space. It's sol
Exactly.
space.
With U1 and 5. So from the unison to the fifth. U sol. This way. And then we have the second example, secundus exemplum. We have ut. What are the notes?
Ut mi.
Exactly. And in the bass. Sorry. So parallel thirds. Mi sol. Mi sol. From 3 to 3. From imperfect to imperfect. Tertius movement. So third movement, we have this note as a unison and the second note is a third. So we have from perfect to imperfect. And the last one is the opposite, from imperfect, so 3, to perfect, so 1. Because we have 2 kinds of consonances, perfect and imperfect, we can have 4 combinations. Perfect, perfect, imperfect, imperfect, perfect, imperfect, and imperfect, perfect. So this is like a probability. We have 4 possibilities. Undecimum preceptum. Non è lecito nel contrappunto ascendere et descendere immediatamente col canto fermo per consonanze perfette. Non sta bene dall'ottava a scendere alla quinta, a scendere dalla terza all'ottava col canto fermo sta bene. Esempio. So the writing about Italian is really bad here. The Italian writing is really bad, but let's interpret what he's saying. So it's not allowed, non è lecito, in counterpoint to go to ascent and descent, so to move up and down with the 2 voices. Immediatamente means exactly in the same motion. Okay, immediatamente. So as the following note, with the canto fermo. So we are in a context where we have a canto fermo, a given melody, and a counterpoint to improvise or to compose, with perfect consonances. This is something he's saying. So it's not allowed, the thing to go up and to go down at the same time with over a canto fermo with perfect consonances, and at the same time it's not. It doesn't sound good from the octave, go down to the fifth, and from the third a scendere dalla terza all'ottava. So from the third to the octave. Okay, and it's saying that from the third to the octave, col canto fermo, so with the plain chant, it sounds good. Let's see the example in order to clarify what it's saying. So we have a violin clef here at the contrary. I imagine here this violin clef reading this paragraph. it feels so crazy. So we have, as we can see, probably a C. So A third and a C in the bass. Exactly. Non licet. Exactly. Oh yes, it's not allowed to go up and down with perfect consonances. What does it mean? In other words, that direct perfect consonances are not allowed in counterpoint. So it's not good to pass from an octave, for example, here to a fifth with direct motion. We are in a two-part context, so it doesn't sound good. But it's good, for example, to move from the third, as we can see, to the octave. So it's like if Chiodino is giving us some example to learn, has pattern, has not only rules, but more like a language. Okay, imagine the situation. Okay, it doesn't sound so good, but this other situation, it sounds good. This is what Chiodino seems to do in this book. How many musical notes are there? 6. Ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. C is a later invention. Up until the end of the 18th century, music was read this way. Bach, Haydn, Handel, Mozart, Vivaldi, Corelli, all of them read music this way. And what about you? The system is called Solmization. Have you ever heard about it? Go to this page and learn more about how Solmization works. Now, duodecimum, so 12th, preceptum. Non è lecito fermarsi in un luogo dopo una pausa intera, eccetto quando si lega. Esempio. So it's not good to stop in a place, so it means on a place, on a chord, on a note. But it's good when we have ligature. So let's play this example. So we have non licet, so something not good, and licet, so something good. Okay, we have F and A. So let's read this first of all. Let's read the melodies. How is the melody of the upper voice, a tenor clef? Lazarus?
Do you want me to sing?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, okay. Re, mi, fa, fa.
Exactly. And the bass?
Fa, re, ut, mi.
Exactly. So as we can see, we have the same note here. So it is saying that it's not good to stop, fermarsi, stop, on the same place. That means on the same letter, on the same chorda. Una pausa intera. So non è lecito fermarsi in un luogo, una pausa intera. It's not so clear what it means with pausa. Pausa in music is rest, but because we don't have any rest, probably it means here to repeat this part. And then he says, eccetto quando si lega. So when we have a ligature, it's good. So the second example. So la fa mi sol mi, so la fa mi so, yes, la fa mi so, la sol la. Exactly. This I was reading. This is a mistake. Of course, we have 3 notes. Or better, it's not a mistake. Probably this is a note we have on the other side of the page, as we can see. These notes probably. So it is not a note we have on this score. Yes, it's problem of scanning. Now, ut sol mi re ut, exactly. So 3 8 3 1 1. Yes, it's a little bit strange, this passage, because it's sleeping on a 4th. It will sound better I think personally that in this case we have to read with a bass clef, because we have so 5 10 5 unison, so 3/3 5 6, and then our final cadence, typical 7 6. So probably this is a mistake about the clef, because it sounds really strange. And let's try now to read this with the bass clef at the place of baritone clef. So it would be a D. So it works as well. Personally, I don't know here. It's difficult to understand what he's saying in this point, because non è lecito fermarsi in un luogo una pausa intera. It's not allowed to stop in a place on a letter. Pausa is rest. So a whole intera is whole. So a whole rest. But we can do it when there is a tied note. Mysterium. Let's see what you. So, what's your opinion? If you have some suggestion about this, we can interpret this passage. Write in the comments, because personally, so the problem is that I can't make a connection. I can't find a connection between this example, what is written, and the musical example. Considering we have another problem here with the clef. So I don't know. Mysterium. It happens. Decimum tertium preceptum. Sono da cercarsi le consonanze più vicine, perché la virtù unita è più forte. This is beautiful. So it says, the context is when you are writing or improvising a counterpoint, you have to go to the nearest consonances. So don't play big leaps, okay? Consonanze più vicine, so the closest consonances. And what's the reason of these things? Because la virtù unita è più forte. So I think that with virtù here it means like the virtus in Latin meaning, so the power, the energy, when the power, the energy, the strength is unita. Unita means, for example, yes, unified, or two things that are together, okay, or in this case near, so vicine, close, okay, is stronger. This is what he say. But per delettare, so per delettare e ampliare il canto, so for more variety, è lecito ascendere sopra il canto fermo secondo la buona voce et disposizione. È bene imitare il canto fermo, ma non è necessario. So it says, okay, it's good. So you should, first of all, you should to find and move the voice to the nearest consonances. But in order to have a good melody, okay, you can play or sing other notes. So it's allowed to ascendere, so go up, moving with wider intervals over the canto fermo, according to la buona voce. So a good sense, we will say today. So a good voice, a good sense of voice. So singing in thinking with a good taste. This is the meaning. And at disposizione, this is the same. And it's good, it says, to imitate the canto fermo. But so to play imitations, to sing imitation with the canto fermo, but it is not necessary, as he say. So here we have imitatio cantus firmi, so an imitation of the canto fermo, of the plainchant. We have here the plainchant. Yes, so let's sing the plainchant. Lazarus, it's your turn now.
Mi fa.
Yes.
Mi fa re mi.
Wait. Mi fa mi re.
Mi fa re mi sol la fa. No? Or mi fa.
Yes. Wait. This is the counterpoint. Let's sing the canto fermo first of all, the lower voice.
Oh, I see. Okay,
exactly.
Okay. Yes. Mi fa mi re ut re mi fa mi.
Exactly. And now let's sing the counterpoint. So we exactly, this mi is the e mi of the natural hexachord, and this mi is the mi on B in the hard hexachord. Go. Sing it.
Mi fa. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
A delay.
Mi fa re mi sol la fa sol re mi fa mi re mi.
Exactly. So let's see. We have in the bass mi fa mi re ut re mi fa mi, and in the melody we can listen mi fa mi re mi fa mi re ut mi fa mi re ut. This is the imitation probably he's talking about. Ut, then we have re mi fa mi ut re mi fa mi re mi. So actually here we have this imitation. Let's write it better. We have in the bass mi, okay, because we are in the natural hexachord. Mi fa mi re ut re mi fa mi. That's good. And then we have in the melody, okay, a flourished melody, so with different values, with tied notes, with dots, but we can find the same melody in the other hexachord. So from B, mi, 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 we have fa, so fa, mi, re, ut, re, here, mi, here, fa, mi. Really interesting. We have this like the same melody, but in the other hexachord. So natural hexachord and hard hexachord. The second time, so the upper voice is with, we can say we have a voice in a canto fermo, so plain chant with all the notes equal with the same values, and the upper voice in canto figurato. Canto figurato, you know what does it mean, canto figurato?
Not really.
Okay, canto figurato is a melody, so chant, cantus, when we have figures. What are figures? Or semibrevis, maxima, longa, these are the figures of music, so the rhythmic value. Because in the plain chant you usually have the notes with the same duration. In canto figurato, figurato is like it's an adjective, so in English would be something like figured bass, okay, figured chant, it's the same thing. Here, but figures are not numbers, okay, figures are the figures, so minima, semibrevis, it's the same thing. So about words, about English is the same, figured bass, figured chant, we would say. And in this figured chant, in this figured melody, we have this the same melody of the plain chant, but with other notes. Interesting. Imitatio cantus firme. Yes, an imitation of the cantus firmus. Nice. Really good. Una nota super la, semper est canendum fa. But this note is a fa. If you are a great lover of Renaissance and Baroque music, you must know that the old masters read and wrote music in a very different way than what we do today. This system is called Solmization, and learning it directly from Renaissance sources can be a difficult and an arduous task. But if you want to learn it today, there's a way that I've created that combines the ancient method with the modern technology. This method is called Fa mi et mi fa est tota musica. Go to this link and find out more. Decimum quartum preceptum. Quando farete contrapunto a solo, so when you do count, we do in means alla mente, so improvising, or a penna, so writing. A solo probably means so with only one voice. So for example, one is singing a melody, and another person is playing or singing the counter, improvising the counterpoint. A solo, dovete principiare dalla consonanza perfetta. Exactly. So it's saying you have to start from a perfect consonance. For example, it can be an octave, it can be a fifth, but perfect, so not imperfect. For example, let's see here. We have, what's this interval, Lazarus? Lazare, we would say as a vocative. We have mezzo-soprano clef and baritone clef.
B to a B, so it's an octave or a unison octave. Oh wait, no, it's an E, right? No, G. It's a G to a B. It's a third.
G to third. B, exactly. So it's not a perfect consonance. And I think we have another problem about clef because it can be. Let's read first of all the paragraph. Okay, and finir. So we have to start and finish with the perfect consonants. So it must be unison, or fifth, or octave. And exactly, this is questo è parere più comune. So what does it mean? Parere più comune means that this is one of the most common rules. Common rules. Okay, so you can find different rules in different treatises, different part of the Italy of the world but this is a common rule among all the ancient masters. So in this example, there's something wrong because it's talking about starting and finishes with a perfect consonant. So I think in this case we have to read the bass as a bass clef, so with an E. Let's try. Let's do it. Sorry, let's play with two hands. I have two hands. Let's use both hands. No, it doesn't work. And probably... Oh, yes, of course. We are stupid. It's a mezzo-soprano clef, so this is a G.
Oh, yes.
That's not the problem. That's not the problem.
Wow.
That's not the problem. Oh, poor Chiodino. We are saying he's writing all things without sense. No, this case is our mistake. So it's octave exactly to the seventh exactly. Sol, fa, sol, re, sol, exactly. Re, fa, la, sol, exactly. Sol, fa, sol, re, fa, la, sol. The interesting thing is this eight, this octave, and octave. If you do this today in a conservatories or a musical academy, they say this is wrong because you have to parallel octaves. But Chiodino writes this, so so you can do it. Of course, you have to contextualize what are you doing, but it's not always a mistake, as we can see. Okay, so what is saying Chiodino? We have to start and finish on an imperfect consonant. Good. Decimum quintum preceptum. Let's see how many precept. Okay, we have almost finished the first book, so let's continue up to the. We have only one page and a half to finish the first book. Decimum quintum preceptum. Habemus modum. So, abbiamo due sorti di contrappunto, cioè semplice e misto. So we have two kind of counterpoint. Simple, it says semplice, simple, and misto. Misto, it means, I think, so misto is difficult to translate in English because it seems like misto is when you have many things, okay, and you put them together like a mix. But in terms of diminuito, let's see what he says now. Il semplice è nota contro nota. So the simple counterpoint is when you put one note against one note. As you can see here, simplex, one note against one note. So let's read Lazare. Read the upper voice in Solmization.
This is a mezzo-soprano clef, right?
Exactly. So let's not make this mistake again.
So it'll be sol, fa, sol, ha.
Exactly. And the lower voice, another G. So this is a G descending. So
it'll be sol, re, mi, re.
Yes. Let's play it. Perfect. And now the misto counterpoint, where is it? Ok, il semplice è di nota contro nota. So the simple counterpoint is note against one note. And in this kind of counterpoint si pongono solamente le consonanti e la sesta precadenza. What does it mean? That in this counterpoint you only have to use consonances. You can't use dissonances in simple counterpoint. So when you do one note against one note. And in the cadences, you have to use the 6. What does it mean? Don't use the suspension, like 7, 6, 8 is not allowed in cadences, but only the 6. Because it's simple counterpoint. In misto counterpoint or fiorito, now we have the other word, so flourished counterpoint. How do you say in English? Is correct in English flourished counterpoint, Lazare?
I think a florid counterpoint.
Florid, okay. Yes, because flourished is more like flower. No?
Honestly, No, flourish is like something that's like, how do I don't know why I can't explain this, but it's just something
No.
that's thriving, some living thing that's thriving, I guess.
Driving?
Thriving, so like living
Okay.
well and having good outcomes. Or
Oh, I see.
unless I'm getting it
Oh.
wrong. I'm just gonna
Yes,
look it up right quick.
For example, how do you say in English a piece of a field with many flowers, with a lot of flowers?
That would be like flowery, I guess.
Flowery. Mm.
But I just looked it up, and yes,
Becau-
flourish is about like some living being, like having good outcomes, being resilient and strong, surviving.
I see.
But it would be
Yes.
florid in that case.
Florid, because we say fiorito in both cases. Fiorito, for example, a piece of grass with many flowers, we say prato fiorito. There was a game in old Windows computers with where you have to check the flowers and not the bomb. How in Italian it was prato fiorito. This game. Do you remember it? You have.
I remember it, but I'm pretty sure I learned it in Spanish because, like, all my experience with Windows was before I came to the United
Yes.
States.
And,
but I'm not-
how is in Spanish the name?
I don't remember that. I was too young.
In Italy it was prato fiorito, so it's the same meaning.
Mm.
Fiorito because of flourished melody, florid melody in this case. Ok, anyway, il misto o fiorito si fa d'ogni nota, any note. So you can put any kind of note in this case, in this florid counterpoint. Perfect, imperfect, chroma, semichroma, punti, so dot, punto is dot, and esempio, and I have example exactly. So let's see the second example. We have the bass. So first of all, let's sing the bass. We start with ut sol. Go, Lazare.
Wait, okay. Let's sing the bass.
Yes, solmization.
Ut sol ut re ut fa.
Yes, exactly. And now not sing the melody. We start with with a mi.
Mi la sol re mi fa sol fa mi fa. Did I mess that up?
Exactly. Yes, it was good.
Okay, yeah, mi fa.
Mi la sol re. Yeah, I have to say that it's not a good position to play when where as I am, but it's good for this time. I have to find now another set here. So exactly, we have these notes. So minimas, we have semi-minimas, we have tied notes. So with a dot, we have chroma. So this figure is called chroma in Italian and Latin. As you can see, chrome in Latin and chroma in Italian. Semichrome, here we don't have semichrome, but in a flourished counterpoint you can use basically any kind of figure, any kind of melody interval you want, of course according to the counterpoint, to the rules and the good taste, as he said before. Okay, decimum sec. I know that reading Renaissance music is not always so simple. You, an excellent 21st century musician, risk not understanding the logical structure of musical phrases of this ancient style. As competent as you are, the ancient masters had another way of thinking about music horizontally, which is totally different from our modern system. The ancient one is called Solmization, and even today it is possible to learn it, thanks to Fami et mi fa est tota musica. Not familiar with this method? Click on this link and find out how it works. Sextum, so 16th preceptum. I vecchi, seniors, so old masters, I vecchi scrivevano e segnavano il tono con 9 linee. Wait a moment. E segnavano il tono con 9 linee, così, perché avevano misurato a formare il tono essere necessari tanti gradi e spiriti di voce. I toni sono sono le consonanze maggiori, perché la sesta maggiore ha più toni che la minore, pertanto chiamasi maggiore. Quella minore di ciò veghe di 7/8 percetto di sopra. This is this is something strange. I can't understand. So he's saying old master. So when you say i vecchi, so old musicians used to write and sing the tone with 9 lines. Here we have a space because it refers to the with line exactly 9 lines. We have this figure where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines in horizontal lines. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, because they make how can I say in English when you, for example, you have to measure something. So for example, like how long is this pen? You take a tool to measure it is correct to say to measure in English, to measure the length, for example.
You could. It would be correct to just say you're measuring a pencil, but like to measure.
Yeah.
What are you measuring?
For example, if I want to know how is long this table, how can I say in English to measure the table, the length of the table?
Yeah, you could just say like that.
Exactly. So misurato, they measured. So they measured that the tone is made up of 9 lines. I don't know what he's talking about in this point. And or spiriti di voce, like voice spirits, ghosts, spiriti di voce. I toni fanno le consonanze maggiori. So tones make major consonances because the 6 majors has more tones than the minor tones. Do you remember the major 6 has 1, 2 as 4 tones: ut, re, mi, then 1 semitone, fa, sol, and sol, la. So 4 tones and 1 semitone. And the minor 6 has 3 tones and 2 semitones. Tone, semitone, tone, and semitone. Okay. But I can't understand this thing about 9 lines. Do you have some ideas?
He was saying that the old masters used to read with 9 lines.
Yes, he's saying that old masters used to write and write the tone with 9 lines. Così means this way, so this figure I wrote here. The tone.
Was that maybe like a pedagogical tool or something?
I think so, but what's the meaning?
I'm not sure.
1, 2, 3. Bo. In Italy we say bo. I don't know. If someone of you have some suggestion, write in the comments, because it's a little bit strange. The first time I read something like this, because 9 lines. What's the meaning? 1, 2, 3. in 9 lines here we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rectangles or square. Really interesting, but I don't know. By the way, this was the Liber Primus of Chiodino, Arte, pratica di contraponto Latine volgare, a book written in order to teach how to improvise or write counterpoint, simple counterpoint but effective. So now today we have been reading the first book. They are 4 books, if I remember correctly. 4 book, and they were the basic rules, so the most elementary rules about counterpoint. So in another reading we will go forward reading the second book about de notis nigris, so black notes, how to write black notes in counterpoint. So black note means semi-minime, this black notes against white notes, exactly. Perfect. So Lazare, it has been a pleasure to read and discuss about these things with you. There are some things that are a mystery for me too, because you know sometimes Italian is really difficult to read, old Italian, because their writing is really horrible in terms of grammar. Really horrible. We pass from a period like Dante and other poets to this period later, three century later, well, they wasn't able to write. There are some sentences with a strange grammar. You have to stay many times in order to understand. And I'm talking for being a native Italian speaker, so it's really strange.
But yeah, that's kind of strange.
Yes, but anyway, we grasped all the most important concept of the first book, and we only have to continue this beautiful journey, reading and making all these Italian books available to people from all over the world that, of course, don't know Italian, because this is one of the most of the worst things of this book. They contains all this knowledge, but they are written in the original languages. So now if you don't know Italian, you can understand what's written in this book. Of course, if you know Latin, it's easier for you, this book, because it's written in 2 languages. And it is like if it were written in English and Italian, because Latin was the universal language at this period. So probably this is why Chiodino wrote this book in Latin and Italian. This is probably why. Okay, so do you have something to say? Say what you want. Your impression, suggestion, Lazare. What do you want to say?
Well, I guess my main impression is that it's also been a pleasure to read this book, or more so listen to you read and join along in the examples. I really have been wanting to get into this part of the early music world, but as you have said, these kind of sources have been very inaccessible to me, so it's just wonderful that we get to go directly to the primary source and just figure it out from right there. So I'm very much looking forward to all our future projects as well. With that channel I'm starting up, we're going to be doing quite a few collaborations, so that's something to stay tuned to and look forward to in the future.
Exactly. So open your channel, because you have a really good voice, and you must sing all this example and all music, and with your mashup. How do you say in English the thing you do when like one choir man? No. Yes.
Oh yeah, the one man choir.
One man choir. What I say? One choir man doesn't make sense. Okay. One man choir, exactly. Perfect. So see you in another video with other things.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right. Wonderful.
How many musical notes are there? 6. ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. C is a later invention. Up until the end of the 18th century, music was read this way. Bach, Haydn, Handel, Mozart, Vivaldi, Corelli, all of them read music this way. And what about you? The system is called Solmization. Have you ever heard about it? Go to this page and learn more about how Solmization works.